Are you hiring engineers? What I'm about to show you is the largest and most important dataset released in technical recruiting in years. My goal here is simple: to give you an unfiltered view into how top developers think and insights on what you can do better tomorrow morning. The data we're about to see here reveals something the industry has misunderstood for a decade. Developers aren't hard to hire. They've just stopped trusting the channels we use to reach them. And today, I'm going to show you the evidence that proves it. We surveyed more than 4,000 engineers on daily.dev, the place where they think, read, learn, and grow together. Millions of developers from all around the world show up here organically long before they ever update a CV or open LinkedIn. That gives us a real-time window into their perspective, their behavior, and their expectations. It makes us uniquely qualified to ask questions nobody else can, like why do developers ignore the channels we rely on? And how do we fix that system so your work actually lands where it should? Let's start with the headline most people probably do not expect. Talent is not scarce, attention is. 80% of developers are open to new opportunities, but 43% of those exact same developers ignore outreach entirely. That is not a small problem. That is a failure mode of an entire go-to-market model for talent. And unfortunately, it is not getting any better. Now, it is a paradox. Demand is at record highs, willingness to move is unprecedented, yet reply rates in the standard channels are flat or declining. And the question is why? Because the message might be fine, but the medium is broken. Developers did not tune out of opportunities. They tuned out legacy channels they no longer trust. This is the part everyone probably feels, but almost nobody measures. It is called trust. Developers rate recruiter outreach at 2.5 out of 5. That means cold contact does not start from neutral. It starts from a trust deficit. When we asked about the overall experience of being recruited in tech, 6 out of 10 developers told us the way recruiting currently works does not meet their expectations. Now, it's not because recruiters do not care. Quite the opposite. It's because the system around them pushes everything towards low context and high volume. That is the trust gap, and every year it widens if nothing changes. 3 forces created this collapse in trust. The first is oversaturation. Across the industry, developers say the main reason they ignore outreach is simple. It looks and feels like spam. A large majority see the messages coming through the big platforms as repetitive and generic, and about half now suspect a lot of it is AI generated. The very tools that were meant to scale recruiting have created a spammy environment that drowns out even the good outreach. The second reason is what we call the resume tunnel vision. Developers build their careers on GitHub, personal portfolios, and the platforms like daily.dev where they actually work and learn. But the system most recruiters are given to work with is still centered on a static CV and a LinkedIn profile that many developers just barely maintain. You're asked to hire for the future while looking at artifacts of the past. You cannot reliably hire where someone is going next if all you see is where they used to be. The third reason is the competence gap. When we ask developers whether they feel the hiring process truly understand their role and tech stack, only 15% said yes. Now, that does not mean recruiters lack skill. It means they are making high-stakes decisions on top of an incomplete, backward-looking data. When the platform you're using does not give you depth, it becomes incredibly hard to sound credible to an engineer who lives in that depth every single day. Now, this is the part I love the most, because talking about what is broken is not enough. I want to give you some insights and tips on what you can do differently. Developers did not just tell us what is wrong. They told us exactly how to fix it. In the very first message, they want 3 basic things to be crystal clear: tech stack, salary range, and work model. These are the non-negotiables. If you cannot give them these in seconds, they just move on. It is not guesswork again. Developers told us exactly what matters. And on trust, the data is even clearer. Developers place the most trust in referrals from people they already know, in communities where they spend time, and in recruiters and talent partners they have built relationship with over time. Cold outreach through legacy channels sits at the bottom of that trust ladder. That is why the old system cannot be fixed by simply sending more messages and with more automation. You cannot rebuild trust with volume. The more the system leans on volume, the less believable it becomes. The snapshot of data you have seen here does not come from a random internet poll. These are real, active global engineers from the daily dev community. The same people your teams are trying to reach today through channels like LinkedIn and email, and increasingly the same people who are tuning these channels out. All this leads to one simple conclusion. Technical hiring does not need more messages, it needs more trust. So we built Daily Dev Recruiter. This is the first developer hiring platform designed around trust from the ground up. Here, there is no cold outreach, there's no noise. Every introduction is double opt-in based on real behavior and real interest from developers inside the Daily Dev ecosystem. If you're hiring developers and you want to see what a trust-first recruiting experience feels like, try Daily Dev Recruiter. It will change how you hire without asking you to become someone you're not. This report isn't just data, it's a turning point. Thank you for watching. Let's build something better.